I wasn't planning on giving out candy this year. Halloween night always made me uneasy, not because of the costumes or the kids, but because of the silence after they're gone. When the streets go empty, when porch lights click off one by one, the neighborhood feels abandoned, like a movie set waiting for the actors to come back. Still, guilt got the better of me. Around 9 p.m., I put a small bowl of candy by the door, just in case someone showed up late. I switched on the porch light, sat back on the couch, and scrolled aimlessly through my phone. At 9:47, the knock came. 3 raps. Slow, too heavy to be a child's. I got up, expecting maybe a straggler or an older teen pulling a prank. When I opened the door, a small figure stood there on the top step. At first glance, he looked like any other trick-or-treater, a little short for his age, maybe 6 or 7. He wore a cheap black costume, fabric hanging loose, and a plastic mask that covered his face completely. The mask was simple, 2 round eye holes, a thin line for a mouth, like a blank face waiting to be drawn on. His bucket was empty. He didn't move. He didn't speak. Hey, buddy, I said, forcing cheer into my voice. You're out late, huh? Want some candy? He didn't answer, just stood there, the plastic mask tilted slightly upward, watching me through those holes. I tossed a few fun-sized bars into his bucket. They hit the bottom with a hollow plastic sound. There you go. Happy Halloween. Normally, that's when kids yell thanks and run down the steps, but he didn't move. He just stood there, breathing slow and steady, fogging the mask around the eye holes. The silence stretched. My skin prickled. All right, time to head home, I muttered, and shut the door. For 5 minutes, nothing. I tried to laugh it off, tell myself he'd wandered away. Then I glanced out the window. He was still there. Same spot, same tilt of the head. I opened the door again, sharper this time. Hey, you need to go home. Where do you live? Do your parents know you're out this late? Nothing, just that empty bucket, dangling from his hand. I stepped forward, meaning to guide him down the steps, but a cold shiver stopped me. Something about the way he stood, too still, too balanced, like he'd been rooted into the wood. Okay, I said, backing up. You can stay a minute, but then you're gone. All right. I shut the door again. At 10:30, I checked. Still there. At 11 o'clock, still there. By midnight, the neighborhood was dead quiet. My porch light was the only one left on. He hadn't moved an inch. I tried to call the non-emergency police line, but my phone glitched halfway through dialing. The screen froze, turned black, then lit up with a new photo album. Halloween. Inside were dozens of pictures of my front porch, each one taken from the same angle, low to the ground, like from a child's height. In the last photo, the figure was closer to the door, mask tilted directly at the camera. I dropped the phone like it burned me. The knocking started again, slow, heavy, 3 raps. I didn't answer. At 1 a.m. the knock stopped. I let myself breathe. I dared to hope he'd finally gone. Then came the sound of plastic scraping against wood. I looked out the peephole. He was sitting now, cross-legged on the porch, mask pointed straight at my door. His bucket sat neatly beside him, still empty. I couldn't take it anymore. I threw the door open. Enough, I shouted. This isn't funny. Go home. The porch was empty, the steps bare, but on the spot where he'd sat was a single candy wrapper. Not one I'd given him. It was old, faded, the kind of wrapper I remembered from when I was a kid. Candy that hadn't been sold in decades. I shut the door, shaking, locked it twice, then dragged a chair in front for good measure. Sleep didn't come. At 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed again. A notification, new album created, trick-or-treater. The first photo was of me, standing at the door, mouth open in mid-shout. The second was of me asleep on the couch, blanket pulled to my chin. The third was of my bedroom door, cracked open, a small black shape just inside. I'm writing this now from the closet, phone battery at 12%. I can hear it, soft plastic scraping on the floorboards, slow, steady, like a bucket being dragged. He wouldn't leave my porch, and now, he won't leave my house.